Looks like a cracking little spot that I found here. Don't forget, look up. And we are back out for another hammock camp. Oh yes. Thanks for joining me on this week's weekly camp, featuring, as always, the outside in. And we are using the mic. Motorhome, glamping pod, log cabin. We're not about that here. We do it proper. So it is currently 25 to 8 at the moment. I'm a bit late getting out today. I struggled to get to sleep during the day and waking up, falling back to sleep, waking up, and I woke up and I just felt shell-shocked. With the lighter nights, no rush to get out, is there? However, I'm out now, so I'm going to make the most of it, as always. Hopefully, this will be a fantastic little camp. Now you can just make out the evening sun. Okay then, so what is the plan? The plan is, I'm going to get the hammock up from here to here. That's plenty wide enough. And I'm really indecisive whether to put the tarp up or not, because it's not supposed to rain. And it'll be nice just waking up and just looking into the tree canopies. But no, my luck, we'll just have some random rain and I'll get drenched. So I think go with the safer option. Put the tarp up. What it takes to put it up, you know. But I have got a new chair. Now, I've had my OEX ultralight chair since before I began the channel. So, I mean, that has done me proud. However, it is starting to get a bit rickety, where the aluminium poles go into the, is it the metal ferrule? I don't know what it's called, but where it basically goes in, it's worn out. And it's happened so slowly over time, I've just sort of gotten used to it being a bit rickety. But in the last few times I've been in it, it's just been that little bit. So I've got another chair. I'll talk about that a bit later on in the video. Let's get set up. Again, the One Tigris underquilt. We've got the Adventurer 200 used for the first time last weekend, and I was impressed with it. It's just nice for this time of year. I mean, dare say in the summer, when it's ridiculous temperatures, I won't even get in the bag. I'll just sleep with whatever is best for the temperature, i.e. in a fleece, or just have the sleeping bag over me if it gets a bit chilly. Just the flannel pillow. Yeah, very simple. Now all I've got to do is put some drip loops on here. Now the excess from the ridge line for the tarp, that's plenty for this side. So a couple on that side, and that's me set up. Fantastic. Seems okay here. Doesn't look like there's anything about to fall on my head this time, as you will be aware from that time where I got lost in the forest, a bit paraplegic. Yeah, it was in fact my birthday, and I think I too much to drink and went to stretch my legs because I've been sat in the chair, or the oh so not much longer chair, as I said earlier. Long guy. While setting up, I realised the one thing I've forgotten tonight. Yes, we have a situation. The idiot has forgot to top his fuel bottle up with fuel. However, I'm going to be using the stainless steel stove that I've got. The, I don't know what it's called, Honhuhu stove, which everybody seems to be really impressed with. Yeah, I've got some barbecue coals. I'll show you what I'll be cooking soon. Very simple tonight. I'm looking forward to tonight's meal. What I am going to have to do is take a trip back to the motor and get some fuel, so I've got enough fuel to make a brew in the morning. Yeah, I'm probably going to do that now actually, while it's still light. Take me a tinny to have on the way, as you do. Okay, so I am all set up. I'm now going to get some fuel, bioethanol, out the boot of my car. I came in that way, didn't I? Rather do it before it gets dark and I get lost again, like the idiot that I am. Well, I've got my phone with me this time, but the battery is slowly running out. I've got about 20%. I have a real good idea where I am now, though. Not near any paths this time either. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stop recording. The simple fact, I'm going to save my battery. Just before it gets dark, let's have a little look. Okay, so apart from my banner, I felt rain then. I think I can hear thunder. Yeah, I'm not very visible. Once I go to bed, I'll pull the banner down anyway, so I don't think I can get any bother in here. As you can see, I'm really quite deep into the woods. I do really like these grassed areas though. How about that, eh? Beautiful. You could have a few people camping here. Again, as I've said, I'm going to save my battery. So if I do sort of lose the camp, I can look on the phone and see where I've geotagged it. So I'll be back when I've got fuel. Okay then, situation averted. You now have a full bottle of fuel and a bit of exercise. I do love these pinewood forests. I think I'll make it back without any issue, battery wise. Not too far now. If I don't, I've got some hunting to do to find my hidden location. I'm a bit sniffly, I do apologise. I've not long got over a horrible stinking cold, which I haven't had one for a good 3 years. I take vitamin C every day. The ones you drop in water, 1 gram every morning. And usually it seems to keep me in good health, but the cold got the better of me. It happens. But it was a right humdinger, I tell you. Put me on my backside for a few days. Still went into work, even if I was useless. Okay, so, excuse me. I have made it back. I am through there, straight ahead. Now the nearest path goes off quite a way back up there. I can't point. Old pointy finger's redundant at the moment because I'm carrying a few things fly in my mouth. Sorry. Not the tastiest. Okay, so we're getting closer. Now you can see, obviously. Running out of light, so I mean everything worked out just nice tonight. Got the camp set up, got my fuel. Winner. I can hear owls already, or should I say an owl. Right, I'll get my phone on charge now. Okay, so it is the last bit of light before we're in total darkness, albeit the trusty lamp. What I do need to do is get out the new chair. Okay then, so first things first, the chair, or should I say the new chair. Now, I was in Aldi earlier on. I've been to Aldi and Lidl, and they're doing camping gear, and I've seen this £13, and I thought, for £13, it's a steal. Now, it's advertised as a ultralight chair. I'm going to be honest, it's not ultralight, it's light. It comes into the light category. From my memory, when I checked, it's about 300 grams heavier than my OEX ultralight chair, which, again, that's claimed to be ultralight, but it's what each person's idea of ultralight is, I suppose. But anyway, it has actually got steel frame as opposed to an aluminium frame, or aluminum if you're American, of course. Shout out to my friends across the pond. But I'm going to set that up now and I'm going to give it a whirl. But again, I needed a new chair, as I said earlier, and for a price and a few hundred grams more, yeah, 300 grams. If it turns out to be, you know, so be it. But anyway, let's get on with setting up the chair. So, having set up the new chair, what is my thoughts? Let's take a look at the new chair. Okay, so I am actually really impressed. It's got the anti-sink mat at the bottom. It's quite small in terms of pack size. Use my hand as reference. I like the colour, it's a nice green. The only issue is, as I've already mentioned, it's about 300 grams heavier than my OEX ultralight chair. For what I've paid for it, that's a steal. It's not for everybody, I know, for these people who like to basically backpack with a pack full of feathers and dust and what. Yeah, I'm sorry, it was a joke. I understand when you're traversing some of these mountains and stuff, but hey, that's not me. So for me, that's a £13 steal. Now, while we're talking about a steal, whilst in Aldi, they've also got a few other things. A mini pump for blowing up your sleep mat, £9.99, also doubles up as a lantern, and that's literally about that big. What else did they have? They had some dry sacks for, I think it was about £4.99. Always worth having dry sack. I mean, I've got a dry sack here from a sleeping bag. I could do with some more, but I've got a dry sack. They had a few other things. Anti-theft bag, the bag that you put on you with your personal belongings inside your jacket, you know, the one. They did have some tents. Wasn't impressed by the tent, by the colour, and you know, they have tents every year. The only one that I really liked that they did was the one that I had and gave away, which was the Adventurous 2-man low profile tent, 3000mm hydrostatic head, and it had aluminium alloy poles, and you don't get that for, well, it was 50 quid at the time, but I got it in a sale for a tenner. So I got a tent with alloy poles for 10 quid, you know, who's moaning? That's why I didn't mind giving it away, you know, to the homeless, but we're not talking about that right now. Okay, so I'm currently sat in the new chair having a Rheinenbacher Pilsner. So I've got some Rheinenbackers, the LD answer to Perlenbacher from Lidl. I've also got some Hobgoblin IPAs as well. Very nice. So I'm going to sit, chill, enjoy the last bit of light and contemplate cooking some food. Okay, so we did the bratwurst on the grill and fried the onions in the pan. Something like that. I am actually full now. Bratwursts. The breeze is beautiful. I could lie here all day. That's the problem with the hammock, you never want to get out of it. But I do need to get out of it because I need to use the toilet. I didn't even get in the bag last night, I didn't need to, it wasn't that cold, I just put it over the top of me. And that's paid off because it's really warm this morning. Well, it's certainly a bit blowy up there, ain't it? I've been sat here now for about an hour with just no life in me at all. Just so chilled out, just, yeah. I haven't even been bothered to put the kettle on. I could just get back in the hammock for a couple of hours, but I'm not letting myself do that because it'll be more than a couple of hours. Yeah. Maybe I should get the kettle on, have a brew, let the caffeine kick in. I have started to do a breakdown. The underquilt. Wash me mess up from last night. We have got a couple of cups of tea on the go. And I've got the kettle back on because I was boiling it for washing up. But what I'll do, oh, it's nearly out now anyway. Well, it's gone overcast again. Up till now, we haven't had that rain. So, whilst breaking down, I did find 6 hot dog rolls intact. Now that tells me that I obviously ate the bratwurst and onions on their own. I had to look back at the video last night, and I've basically cooked them. I've polished off 6 bratwurst. I've used the, oh, I've thrown it away now, the little packets. I've basically put tomato ketchup and American mustard on them, added the onions, and didn't put them in the buns that I bought. What? Idiot. I am dangerous when I've not slept properly and I have a few tinnies. Not dangerous in, you know what I mean. I'm just stupid. Oh well. I'll take them home for the kids. They can make some hot dogs, can't they? Or I can make them some hot dogs, should I say. And the reason why I've still got the hammock up is because I'm letting it air, because I don't know what I got on it last night, whether it's ketchup or whatever, but I've cleaned it off and I'm letting it dry out before I pack it away. Otherwise, I'm going to have to get it back out again and then air it out at home. But with the breeze, that should be dry in no time, especially being parachute material. Very lightweight. I think it's nylon. There's no weight to it whatsoever, but it's very strong. But yeah, I feel back alive again now. Especially now I've started drinking my tea. Now, I'm not cooking breakfast or anything this morning. I never plan to. I've got a sticky cinnamon bun. And I did have some pasta and sauce in that bag in case I was feeling hungry. I'm not feeling really hungry this morning, to be fair. Else I would have cooked the pasta and sauce. Really handy those are, just for putting in your backpack. You could fit loads of them in there and they're no weight whatsoever. And they only cost about 45p from Lidl. Very simple meals to take camping with you. You can add stuff to it, sausages, bacon. So if you used to take a pack of bacon, pack of sausage, as you see I do regular, you could use, I don't know, 4 of the sausages and some bacon for an evening meal with some pasta and sauce, and then what's left then, you've got your breakfast, so you ain't having to take individual. It's quite handy that to do it that way, especially if you're trying to keep the weight down. I mean, you've watched the channel. I'm an idiot. I don't try. My idea of keeping the weight down is leaving the table behind, but taking half the brewery with me. Now, you might think that I've been sat here all this time, you know, sat on my phone, you know. I can tell you now, my phone's been on charge for the last, I'd say it's been on charge for the last couple of hours. And the only reason I looked at my phone is when I had a message from the missus. Other than that, I can honestly say I don't do all the social media or the social networking, that's the proper word for it. I pretty much use my phone for YouTube. I'm big into the YouTube. I love the YouTube, but not about watching just, well, I'll be lying if I do get clickbaited. I do get clickbaited. check my mic's still on because it ran out of charge. I've got 2 of them, but the other one I didn't charge it like an idiot. But yes, I do get clickbaited a lot, and I really hate clickbait. But yeah, I've got an Instagram account. I just think it's the most narcissistic app that's ever been created. Instagram. I mean, it's bad. Now I've got that just to help sort of plug my YouTube channel, and I follow on Instagram the hiking, backpacking and all the outdoor stuff. That's it. That's all I follow on there. And the post that I put on there is when I create a video on the Sunday, for the Sunday, and it's basically sort of advertising that, to be fair. What else is there? X, Twitter. Again, I've got an account, but it's something that I don't really use. I don't post on there. I just see it pointless. And as for Facebook, I have not used Facebook since 2012. I just find social networking apps, social media, other than your YouTube, I just find it the cancer. It's become the cancer of society. It's just bad news, and it's damaging our kids. You can't tell kids because they don't know life without phones and all this social networking and media and all this. It's just the norm for them. But the one thing I really do hate about kids having phones, when kids were bullied at school years ago, you know, it's common. Kids get bullied for various reasons. But once they left school and they got home, that bullying stopped. Now it continues through their phone. Unless they tell their parents or flag it, you don't know it's going on. And again, it's crippling the children. And it's making children grow up too fast now. Kids aren't kids anymore, are they? But I think I've had this conversation lots of times before. So the point of this conversation is I just cannot be bothered with the likes of social media, social networking. I just think there's better ways to live my life. And I think these videos show a little side of that I like a more simple life. Yet it took me a long time to realise actually how much I love this lifestyle. And it's so good for you. It is so good for you. It's unreal. It's like weekly medicine. Medicine for the mind. Something that's always stuck with me, and it's very powerful. And it was when I was having a bit of a whinge and a moan at the missus, and we was both in bad moods, and we was probably having a bit of a dig at each other. It happens, you know. And I don't even know what I was moaning about. The fact that I was moaning's arbitrary to what I'm about to say, but she said something to me, like I said, and it stuck with me. And I often think about it. And what she says to me is, instead of thinking about what you don't have, think about what you do have. And I just went away and I just thought, you know, she's absolutely right. And I think that was a very poignant moment in my life because it just changed my mind frame on a lot of things. And I actually went away and I actually thought about what she says. And it's powerful. And it's very true. And just watch me. Kettle's about to boil, sorry. Yeah. So I think about now quite oftenly the things that I do have, and I think of how lucky I am. And then I think of people that are less fortunate. And that is why in the past I've helped homeless people out, and I've helped people out, and many times are homeless, and I never really try and there's a few times I've mentioned it when I've been out and stuff has happened and it's interrupted my videos, but more often than not there'll be times where people have asked me for some money and whatever, and sorry, put my fire out, and yes, I've given the change that I've got. Might have been 2 or 3 quid change out of a fiver, or I'll say I've got no physical cash on me and I'll have bought them something. And I think if you want to help somebody, it's got to come from the heart. It's got to come because you wanted to do it. There's times where I've been outside a supermarket and there's a guy in absolute horrendous weather sat out there just sort of sheltering, and I've gave him my sleeping bag, you know, and I've come out and I've gone back in the supermarket, bought him a sandwich, and then gave him some of my beers. And the gratitude from this guy, you know, and I asked him, well, where are you going to sleep tonight? And he said, well, I'll be sleeping under that bridge, with the one where the river goes underneath. And it's, you know, and I can't just walk past these people. I'm not interested in how they got to that stage in their life. You know, it could happen to any one of us. You know, stuff happens in our life, and, you know, in terms of drink and drugs and stuff, it happens to people. Don't sit on your soapbox and you know, giving it all that about people, because you don't know until you've walked in their shoes. So I do get people slate me, oh, you know, that's blatantly going on drugs, or, you know, when I've given money. Well, if his life's that bad that he's living under a bridge and he needs some drugs to get him through another horrible winter's night, well, so be it. But it's not for me to judge. Now, that's the kind of person I am. That is, you know, and I don't have many friends because I like to keep my circle small, but the ones that I do have got good values, very good values. Latest friends that I've made, I didn't think I'd make friends, is Tim and Molly. You know, they're the most down-to-earth guys you'll ever meet. And I've often posted their channel. I'll do it again while I'm here. At Ard Up Hiker, Tim, and at Camping Rules OK, Molly. 2 real decent down-to-earth guys. So to find friends at my age, you know, it's a bonus. And I think these guys will be friends for forever. We've just got the same mentality about a lot of stuff. I've got the lads who I work with, Chris and Ryan. More so Ryan. He gets out with me more often to do the outdoor stuff. Always a good crack when I get out with Ryan as well. Now, this little location that I've found is going to be, when I come out with Ryan, if Chris wants to come out, because Chris doesn't get out, as I say, as often as Ryan does, but this is perfect. This is hammock territory, and the nearest path to where this is, you cannot see in here because there's that much cover, and you won't see anybody walking around here. So unless somebody physically comes walking through this area, which from my experience of being in these woods, it's mostly people with dogs and they keep to the main tracks. So this has been an absolute awesome find, and I'm going to come here again, but when I'm with the lads, of course. Okay then, so 2 things have happened. I've got to the point now where all I need to do is break the tarp down. The moment I come to break the tarp down, you guessed it, it started raining. So I've took shelter inside. The second thing that's happened, I've been busted. Not in a bad way, but I've been busted. Now, I was taking a leak against that tree here, as you do, and I seen somebody walking along with a dog. So I sort of got myself back here. He didn't see me. Next thing I know, dogs come running into the camp. The dog's busted me. Now the guy was calling the dog continuously. He didn't realise until I says, I hope he's friendly, because he was quite a big dog. And he started barking at me. So I just stayed still, as you do. And this guy's come walking in. Oh, I didn't realise you was camping. So I says, well, I didn't think anybody would see me where I am. He says, well, to be fair, I didn't see you. Obviously, the dogs picked up on your scent, and that's why the dogs come running in. He said, I hope you've eaten your dinner, because the dog will have it. The dog had its nose in me carrier bag. There's nothing left to eat, unless he wants to eat dry pasta and sauce. I don't think so. So, where I thought I was a little bit tucked right back from the path, I'm not. Well, again, he said he didn't see me. He had no clue I was here. So if I am going to come back here, it's going to be a camo net job, and the camo nets are going to go round here. The tarp from that distance being camo, that'll be hard to see unless you're really looking for it. But yeah, other than being busted, it's been a great little camp, and I am now packed up and ready to go. It's gone 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Now, whilst I was here last night, for some reason, I don't know how, this is when I went to get the fuel, I came out of here, I completely lost my bearings in the direction that I came in. So the direction I came in was from that track that way. However, I don't know why I did it. I went out that way. Yeah, for some reason, and end up going further. I completely lost my bearings, and I'd got my phone with me. I thought I'll get to the path that I'm coming on, and then I'll check on my phone. And when I checked on my phone, yeah, I was going a big, long way round. However, nice little walk. I don't mind. I do enjoy forest walks. It's good to do forest walks as well, because that's how you learn to find hidden spot. Well, not so hidden, is it? So next time, I'm gonna, as I say, either put the camo nets up or just get tucked in a little bit further back, but defo think the camo nets. If it weren't for the dog, I'd have been all right. We are good to get out of here. Bag of rubbish, everything else in the pack. Leave it as you found it, and all that jazz. You know how it goes now. Don't leave any mess. Incognito, you wasn't here. I'm happy with that. So let's get out of here. Had the dog not have rumbled me, nobody would have ever have known I was here. Exactly. Okay, so I've had an absolute blast. What a fantastic chilled hammock camp. Been great having you guys along. I know the idiot gets to that point in the night, a few beers and it's knockout, but I'm out here to enjoy the outdoors. The fact that I bring you guys along, you know, that's just a small part of it, but for me, that's how I like to spend Saturday night. If I fall asleep, I fall asleep. I don't care. I'm where I love being, in my favourite place. So I'm going to wrap this up. Once again, please give me a like, please subscribe, and you can always buy the idiot a coffee, not compulsory. And don't forget, keep it real.